Welcome back to another episode of the AIM Show. Today's episode, we are going to be sitting down for a while because it's not going to be that flashy of an episode. It is going to be for the core topics because today we're going to be talking about health and not just surface level health like having six packs or tracking your calories, but more about body and your body as the foundation for every area of your life. Your clarity, your consistency, your leadership, your emotional control and intelligence, your faith, your finances, your relationships, everything. Because if your body isn't in order, your mission will suffer. And a tired man does not lead that well. A foggy mind does not build the purpose and the dreams that you want. And a worn out body, it just can't carry the purpose and the wisdom that you need to carry. There's a famous quote by Seneca that says, "The body is a servant to the mind, and it obeys the operations of the soul." Let's begin with this simple truth. Your body is not a side project. It's the only vehicle you get. The gear that you have to show up day in and day out for your calling. You can have the clearest vision, you can have the strongest faith, you can have the biggest dreams, but if your body is wrecked, tired, inflamed, anxious, distracted, it's going to be very hard to execute. Not consistently, and it's not going to be that fun. Let me ask you this question. Are you treating your body like something that matters to God, or are you treating it to push it to the side until it breaks? In 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20, it says, "Do you not know that your bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit? Therefore, honor God with your bodies." This verse isn't about vanity. It's about being a steward and stewardship. You've been entrusted with a physical vessel to carry things out that God has placed in your heart. If your body fails, your mission will slow down or it might even stop. So let me break it down a little bit more so that you can kind of understand it. When your energy is low, your confidence will go low. When your body is extremely inflamed, your mind will get very foggy and you'll have a hard time thinking straight. When you're not taking care of yourself, you have a hard time showing up in your relationships, your business, your leadership skills, how you talk to yourself, and even your faith. This doesn't mean that you need to become a 8-time Olympia or a bodybuilder in the gym, but it does mean that you need to take ownership of your health. So what I would recommend you do is find some time this week, grab a notebook, open your notes app on your phone, if you have iPhone, and I'm sure they have it on Android. Write down the daily habits that are draining you, both physically and mentally. Now, why would I do this and why should anyone care? When you have the act of writing something down, you get half of the thing that you want to get done, because you're admitting that that's a problem, and then you can go and attack that problem that you need to fix. So, for example, are you staying up until 3 a.m. on your phone? Recently, I actually have been. Not that late, but much later than I should. Are you skipping meals, or are you eating horrible food that is killing your focus and your mental clarity? I know I have done that multiple times, and when I do, I feel and I regret the decision that I made. But you have to understand that that decision will affect you in the future. One thing that I like doing is every single time before I eat, I'm like, is this actually a good thing for 2 days from now or a day, whenever it takes for you to feel the effects of it? Maybe an hour. The final question is skipping movement entirely because you're busy, or is it just an excuse to not do something that you just don't want to do, and you're avoiding the hard conversation and the hard topics that you should do? Write down these 3 habits. Do 3 things you can swap in today. Oftentimes, it's harder to just remove habits, but if you can find something and then kind of replace that habit with something better. Let's say your problem is waking up or staying up late with your phone. Why don't you just put your phone in a different room before you sleep 2 hours before you go to bed? Let's say you go to bed at 11 o'clock. That means at 9 o'clock, no more phone. No matter what happens, if you're at home, it doesn't really matter. You don't really need to look at your phone. It's probably not that important anyways. And I mean, in dire situations, obviously, you can use your phone, but you get the point. Just try it for night. See how you sleep. And if it doesn't affect you, maybe that's just wasn't as impactful as you thought, and you can try something else that will work better for you. And everyone's different, but it's a general rule of thumb that it's probably not the best to stare at your phone right before you go to bed. Small habits will open up big doors, and you have to remember this. Some ancient wisdom from Socrates is a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and the strength which his body is capable. You have to understand that you're capable of so much more than you believe. Just so much more than you believe. And being able to understand that is super important. I don't know, my notes are not loading, and it's kind of annoying. So give it a second. See, this is what happens when you have podcasts and you are not cutting anything out. You get the authentic truth. So let's get a bit deeper and talk about your gut and brain. Now, you're probably wondering, okay, why is Alan talking about this? This is not his style of podcasting. But I think this is important, so I want to cover it. Most people will try to have willpower to go through, break through a foggy mind in a mindset. But they forget that your mind does not operate in isolation because it's connected to every part in your body, your nervous system, your gut, your sleep, your nutrition. And I really want to talk about the gut-brain axis for a second. Now, science backs up what scripture hinted at for 1,000 years. And it's that your inner world, inner being impacts your outer world and being. When your gut is inflamed from processed food, stress, junk, your brain has a hard time to think clearly, and your emotions get very reactive. And also, I think your decisions get kind of sloppy. And that's a big problem for a man or a woman who has a big goal and vision. In Proverbs 4:23, it says, "Above all else, guard your heart, from everything you do flows from it." Your heart in the Hebrew thinking includes your inner world. So your emotions, your thoughts, your spirit. And if your body is constantly under pressure, I think that your inner self will always, or is going to suffer too. And something that I've learned is if you want better mental health and clear thoughts, start by fixing your gut, your sleep, and your screen use. It's not just therapy, not just prayer. All of those matter, but your habits matter a lot too. Something that I like asking myself is, do you feel anxious or do you feel distracted when you are trying to work? Like, do you feel anxious and distracted more so than you feel focused and calm? When you sit down to work, can you find clarity, or is it constantly chaos? Are you present when you're with others, trying to talk to someone, or are you mentally somewhere else? And every single person I've ever talked to, without fail, has at least had one of those three, where they were not in the quote-unquote right mental state. If you're in a foggy mental state and overstimulated, it's not a flaw. It's just a signal that your body is telling you that you're out of alignment and you need to kind of come back to the base and come back to kind of hit a reset button almost. So some action things that I would 100% recommend you do is try cutting out refined sugar and seed oils for 7 days. And why do I say that? Now, everyone says, oh, you should cut out sugar or you should cut out this, and no one really tells you why. Have you ever wondered why people and why foods are so tasty? They use people, they have scientists to develop the flavor in certain things. Now, that's a whole different story. Like fast food and ultra processed food, that's a whole different story in and of itself. But sugar is what we're talking about. And refined sugar, when you give refined sugar to a young person, especially if they're still developing, like 8, 9, 10, it's not that good for their brain because it's not natural. Now, I'm far from a person who says, like, if you eat one sugary thing, like, every once in a while, it's fine. And everyone has their own belief system. But I genuinely think that everyone should try 1 week of no sugar just to see how they feel. Personally, I've been doing no sugar from on and off from September. And when I'm off sugar, it's incredible. It's day and night and day, whatever you say, difference from when you're eating sugar consistently. Just journal it, take mental note of how you feel. I think another thing that you can do is walk outside in the morning and at night each day. No music, just moving outside with your own thoughts. If you have a dog, take your dog on a walk. If you have a cat, take your cat on a walk, which I don't think that's a thing, but I don't know why I said that. Well, whatever. Another thing you can do is shut off your phone before you go to bed. Like, not like silent, but shut it completely off and put it in a different room. Try those things. See what happens. Come back and make note of if it was a positive or negative experience. Everything is to be experimented with to see what works and what gets you to feel healthier and closer to God. In Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by renewing your mind." Renewing your mind really starts with feeding your body and your spirit. But let's be real. I think discipline is a big part, and discipline is very much so a lost art. Every single person is chasing dopamine, or quick dopamine, I should say, scrolling, shortcuts, pre-workout. I know you know who I'm talking to. Hacks. It doesn't matter. But the truth is, your future isn't built on the hype or the trends. It's built on habits and foundation. We are really what we repeatedly do. So that means we just have to consistently do the same thing. And I don't know why I just said that, because I have a quote that I was going to read that just says the same thing. Aristotle says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit." I don't know. I'm all over the place today. Motivation will fail you. Discipline is spiritual and will keep you consistent. It's about waking up when no one is watching. It's about moving your body when you're tired and no one is watching. It's about showing up in your business when you'd rather scroll or rather be asleep. In 1 Corinthians 9:27, it says, "I discipline my body and make it my slave, so that after I have preached it to others, I myself will not be disqualified." This walk, whether it's faith, whether it's business, whether it's fitness, it's not about always feeling good, but it's about mastery. It's about honoring what you've been given, the gift, what you've been given, and the gift of this life that we are all blessed to have. Do not try to do everything at once, though, because I've made this mistake and it's detrimental and you feel horrible and you feel like you're not making progress. What I recommend is choose one foundation habit that you go all in for 30 days. For example, you could do 7 a.m. workout. I would never do that, but that'd be amazing if I could. I shouldn't say I never. I would be very happy if I could do that. Reading 10 verses before touching your phone. Cold shower in every single morning. 3 liters of water, or I would say mineralized water, every day. Track it, own it. Don't overthink it too much. Execute it. Understand that discipline will compound far faster than your talent ever will, and that every single day, if you just stay consistent, then you will get to the next level and to the next stage in your life over time. And you have to understand that spiritual strength isn't also is also is also a big part of health and having a strong foundation. We live in a very fast world where pushing us towards comfort, ease, compromise, and we call it peace. And I'm very passionate about health and becoming the best versions of ourselves. And I don't like the way that everything is pushed towards comfort. We have one-click buttons. Your food can get delivered to your house. Your groceries can get delivered to your house. And the convenience to become lazy has never been more accessible than it is today. It's never been more amazing to have this amazing opportunity in every realm of human existence. But at the same time, there's so much variability and so much ease to not do anything because everything is so convenient. True peace, I think, though, in my personal belief, is it's not soft, it's earned, and it's protected by resilience. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you did something difficult on purpose simply because you knew it would make you stronger? Now, I'm really struggling to have words today, so forgive me. But most people only train their body, but few people train their mind, and even fewer people, oh my gosh, and even fewer people train their spirit. But I think the most dangerous or the most equipped person in the room is the one who trains both or all three, your body, your mind, and your spirit. In 2 Timothy 1 verse 7, it says, God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and of love and of self-control. Let me read that again. For God gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power and love and self-control. Power, love, and self-control. That's a man who knows how to lead, and that is a person who God can trust with his influence. But I can't pretend it's easy because I've had to wrestle with doubt, and I think everyone does. We oftentimes get lost in the montages of movies. The most famous, or one of the most famous, being the Rocky montage, of having like a 1 or 2 minute clip of him becoming successful. And we oftentimes don't have, or we think it will be that easy. Like, oh, that montage was 3 minutes. Why is my doubt, why is my season taking 4 or 5 years? And why do I have doubt? Why do I have doubt in the process if I'm doing anything right or if I'm doing something wrong? Why? Because movies don't show that, right? Like, movies don't show if they don't show them wrestling with doubt. Yeah, they might have setbacks, they might have struggles, but they just don't show that. And I think I've had days where I didn't feel spiritual, I didn't feel focused, and I didn't want to show up. But that's when you have to train, and that's when you have to build, so that when the pressure hits, when the time comes when you have to lift the heavy weights, we can carry them. We can keep going. I mean, there's like that famous quote that, I don't know, some online person said, the more you sweat in training, the less you bleed at war. I mean, it's not just a gym quote or a big thing that you say. It's life. And you don't have to wear faith on your sleeves, but you should never put your back pocket. You should never put it into your back pocket either. You can build differently when God is your CEO of your life and your business. And understanding that gives you immense power and immense peace in your life. So, what does health have to do with your business, and why did I even bring this up, and how does this connect with faith and business? This is kind of where it all comes together, and this is the fun part, but I kind of butchered the first half, so forgive me. If you're trying to build a brand, a movement, a community, a team, a vision, but if you're not physically and mentally dialed in, you're limiting your growth. I don't think there's another way to put it. You won't outperform the amount of energy that you have, and you won't outlead your emotional regulation. You won't outrun your burnout if your system is not able to handle it, or if your system is taxed. I mean, think about it. Great ideas don't matter if you're too tired to execute, and great visions don't matter if people, and they don't move and they don't happen if you can't communicate them properly, and great products can't scale if you don't have the stamina to build them and stay consistent enough in a long enough time. I mean, Proverbs 24:10 says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is small. Don't be the guy who starts up really fast and then ends up burning out like right away. Be the guy who builds endurance. Be the guy who builds a business, because business is a marathon, not a sprint. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. Faith is a marathon. And something that was beautifully put by Marcus Aurelius was, you have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The question now is, are you building that strength daily? Are you allowing yourself to be influenced by external events and things that you can't really control? Or are you understanding that you have power over your mind, and you can control the things that you can control, but you can't control the things you can't? And are you stressing over the things that you can't control, or are you stressing over the things that you can control? Are you being lost in the negativity of the world that has little to no impact on what you can do? Or are you taking control of your life one step at a time, getting better every day? Let me leave you with this. Your body, your mind, and your spirit are not on separate tracks. They're one singular system, and your results in your relationships, your business, your faith will always reflect from how well that system is operating. So if your system is not healthy, then it will not operate at the lengths that you want it to operate. In Isaiah 40:31, it says, but those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. That kind of strength is not random at all. It isn't. It's developed. It's discipline. And having the discipline daily to show up. So this week I challenge you, and I actually challenge myself, to audit your health. Sleep, food, movement, stress, motivation, discipline. What is draining you this week? Pick one area in your life to go all in the 7 days. It could be something small. Waking up early, going to bed late, not using your phone right before bed. Small things compound. Finally, pray over your health like you would do over your business. Invite God into your health. Invite Him. Because He's not just interested in you on Sunday. He's not interested in you just on one day of the week. He's interested in your stamina, in you daily. The man who builds strength in silence will be the one who roars when it matters. Thanks again for all of you guys tuning in again today with the AIM Show. If this spoke to you, share it to someone who is building something real. And if you want to support, subscribe or follow. There's going to be new episodes every single week, or I'll try to at least. Stay strong, stay disciplined, and I'll see you guys next week. I love you.